What's up, y'all? We back again with another podcast. I cannot be happier to be here with these great gentlemen right here. We got my guy. Oh man, wait, y'all. We gonna be talking about money. Let me just put that out there right now. We talking about equity and we talking about how to get that money up. So y'all, please, y'all better tune in. Now we got Terrance DuBois, y'all. He's a financial literacy person and he's very, very educated and he knows that things in Buffalo is not best when it comes to equity, and he's trying to give you guys a personal intake on how to increase your wealth. So, Terrance, thank you for coming.
Thank you
and
for having
also
me.
we have Daniel.
The one and only.
Yep, you already know, and my boy Xavier.
Hello.
Zay Bomber.
So y'all, we here and we ready. So what's good? Welcome to the show, Terrance.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure. My pleasure's all mine.
Yeah. So I was looking into you and I saw that you are very, very educated. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So Terrance DuBois, born and raised here in Buffalo, New York. I've acquired my bachelor's degree from Duville College with a minor in accounting, and then I went on to pursue my master's degree from Medine College, and then on top of that, I actually have my Series 7, which is my stockbroker's license, and a few other different licenses as well.
Oh man. So how would I come up to get my Series 7 if I wanted to get into, equity and stuff of that nature?
Great question. So before I got mine, one of the requirements was college degree. Mm-hmm. So as of right now, I believe all firms, a particular investment firm would have to sponsor you to get that investment license. Mm. So I believe for one, the minimum is actually a bachelor's degree. Okay. But at the time when I got mine, I didn't actually have a degree because I went through the back door. Okay. And we can talk about that if you want. Mm. But the minimum requirements is a college degree. And from that point on, investment firm would sponsor you to take the Series 7 exam. Once you pass it, you basically should be set for life, but it is a 6-hour exam. Okay. So it's more so the second hardest exam behind the bar. Wow. So it's no joke. But, the thing is, once you pass it, you should be set for life if you do what's right with the license.
I know that was stressful. I can only imagine some of the work that you had to put into actually, just to pass that course. Can you tell us how stressful that was? Or what was some of the motivation that you had to keep pushing?
Believe it or not. So I got my license when I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. So they said, hey, you had one shot to pass that exam. And I had already quit my job here in Buffalo and I moved to Charlotte. So I knew that, hey, if I didn't pass this, it's like I had to come back home to Buffalo. And I wasn't trying to come back to Buffalo because when I left Buffalo, I was basically a CNA, certified nurse's assistant. And, that was a major upgrade if I would pass that exam. So it took me six months to actually pass the exam. But what happened, I failed it the first time with a 47. I'm thinking, I know this information. And, with me going in there cocky, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to pass this. But I got literally a 47 on an exam. And I thought I knew what I was talking about. But they say, you know what, we like you. We're going to give you another try. So basically they gave me another try. And I knew, hey, if I didn't pass this, it's the next time I'm going back to Buffalo. Right. So I took another couple months to basically just study. So I would go to work and study from 8 to 4, then basically go to the library and close the library every day for another 2 months. So it took me literally 6 months to pass that exam. Wow. But the thing is, with determination, you can basically do anything. Because they basically didn't think I was going to pass it because I didn't have no college degree. But, and I'm not knocking college, but the thing is, everyone don't really need to go to college to basically pursue, their passion or, some of their dreams and goals.
Facts.
Yeah, so I just want to hit I guess this is my little catchphrase, hit the rewind button. So I just want to get a feel for what your childhood was like and what led you into financial literacy in the first place.
Okay. My childhood, believe it or not, it was pretty dope. It's like my parents, they basically just celebrated 50 years of marriage. So the thing is, I wouldn't say it's normal, but it's like I basically was the youngest child. So basically I'm the youngest child of 2. My parents basically gave me everything I wanted. So I didn't really have to do much, but basically just do what I'm supposed to do. And that's basically just do your schoolwork. Yeah. So I did that. But then at the same time, we lived the average life, and it's like whatever I wanted, I got it. But at the same time, I knew that I was never satisfied. So when I finished high school, I had no desire to go to college. But then I just seen that, you know what, if I wanted to basically do something with myself, I probably would need more education. So I took that route to go to college. But then it's like I rushed to go because my girlfriend was going to college at that time. So I was more so just chasing behind her.
So you was
I'm just keeping it 100. I'm really out. Chasing her. Yeah, exactly.
I feel you.
And then at the same time, I wouldn't get no financial aid. So my dad said, just go to college and I'll pay for it. But I'm like, you know what? My headspace wasn't right at that time. And I knew that I was only there for, the girls and my girlfriend at that particular time. So I think I did one semester, dropped out. And then I basically just, got my nursing license. Well, not my nursing license, but basically the license to be a CNA. But I just knew that I only got one back. And if I hurt my back basically doing nursing work, I'm done.
Right.
And I was maybe, 21 at the time. And I just say, you know what, what's next? That's when basically I moved north. Well, I went to visit my family in North Carolina, seeing that they were hired to become a correction officer. I'm like, you know what? I'm making 20 grand here. If I move to Charlotte, they'll pay me 35,000.
Mm.
I think that's a no-brainer. So I basically took that leap of faith and moved to North Carolina.
Wow.
And I did that when I was 22 years old. And that didn't work out, but I enrolled into a computer training program, and that led me into finding a mentor. And he basically was a stockbroker at that time, but he had a college degree. And I seen that they were hiring, but one of the requirements was a college degree. But, he was already a manager at that time. So I used his name to basically get me the interview. But I got his Series 7 book and I studied for it. So when I had the interview, I spoke as if I already knew what I was talking about. And that's how I landed that job.
So it sounds like to me, you've networked throughout your whole point of
Yes.
being in Buffalo. And when you got to Charlotte, you were destined. You knew what you were going to do. You had it set in mind. So when you got there, what was going through your mind? Did I make a mistake or am I here for good?
No, not at all. I knew I was a hustler. And I seen how thick the job ads was. So I knew that whatever I wanted to do, I can basically do it out there because I've seen how thick the job ads was.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew, matter of fact, within that first year of me being down there, I think I went down there in 98. I had 11 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
My first job, basically, I got 1 week after I arrived in Charlotte.
Okay.
So I knew that, hey, basically whatever I wanted to do, I can do it out there.
Right.
But I was just so used to basically just finding work and not a career. So when I found the opportunity to become a financial advisor or get my Series 7 license, I knew, hey, if I would have got that, that basically would have set me up for life.
Mm.
And it did. 21 years later, I still got my Series 7, my Series 63, my life and health insurance license, just passed my notary, and 2 other degrees that I didn't have when I first went down there.
My brother, it's time for you to become an executive. it's time, man. You need to open up your own firm, something, anything.
It's in the making already. Me and my wife started already.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Props to you.
Yes,
Props
yes,
to you.
yes. So she's licensed as well. Thank you. So we more so basically came together and basically said, you know what, instead of actually, working for someone else, why not do it for ourselves?
You about to be your own boss. I don't see nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate it.
Daniel.
Speaking of next steps, and doing things for ourselves, I see you brought those financial literacy cards with you today. Yes. So I want to hear all about these financial literacy cards, how they started, and that beautiful little baby girl that's on the cover of those financial literacy cards right there. So,
all right. So it started 4 years ago. So basically, when I came back to Buffalo, I moved back to Buffalo in 2001. Fast forward in 2006, I'm working for a local financial advisor firm. And I was basically going into the schools, educating people on the importance of retirement. So their 403B, their New York State pension, life insurance. And I basically just drummed up a lot of business, but I found out that they're not talking about financial literacy in the schools. And I don't believe they're still doing it today.
Nope.
No. So, 3 years fast forward into that, I was like, well, you know what? Once I actually had a kid, I'm like, you know what? Eventually, my child will basically go to the public schools or the Buffalo public schools. But at the same time, they're not teaching these kids this information. Right. So, by that time I acquired some degrees, and then I'm realizing the stuff that I learned in graduate school, they still didn't talk about money or financial literacy. Mm-hmm. So it's like I actually have one of, the highest degrees that you can obtain in business school, but they missed the point of talking about financial literacy. So that's when I said, you know what, how can I transfer my knowledge to my children right now? And that's when I said, you know what, the best way for me to do it is more so start basically writing things down. But when I wrote it down, I'm like, well, you know what? I got more in my brain. So I'm like, you know what? If my kids need this, I'm thinking every kid would need this as well, because still, it don't matter what school you go to, they're not talking about financial literacy.
Right.
So that's when I said, how can I make this a fun learning environment? So that's when I basically, said, hey, you know what? Let me basically make them financial literacy cards. So the theory behind the cards is basically, hey, it's 52 cards because how many weeks is there in a year? 52. So the premise behind the cards is that you basically use one card per week if you're more so going to be teaching yourself or your child. So by the end of the year, you master the deck of cards. Once you learn them, pass them to someone else. So each one teach one.
I love that. I love that. I feel like nowadays it's more important to start young. And I feel like the kids are soaking up everything,
Correct.
From the media to today's incidents, they look at it and they see it and it's literally engraved in their heads.
Yes.
So I think that what you're doing is not only needed, But I feel like it's more necessary, if anything, to get that out there more. You need to publicize it more. Not you per se, but everybody need to publicize how to handle your money.
Yes.
And now, let's say if they were to hit the lottery, what you gonna do with it? You got $1 million. You go to the store. You about to spend 500,000.
Of course. Yeah.
Because you feel, hey, I got 500,000 more, but you're not realizing taxes. They don't teach you about that in school. They don't teach you about taxes. I know for sure. I didn't know anything about taxes. So I got to my sophomore, junior year. So I didn't, I wasn't really even thinking about none of that. So, I feel like if you start early, it will be a better, outcome at the end of it.
And even with these cards, it's like, you know what? Some of these cards, the words are very big words, for a 6-year-old. It was like, I basically created these cards 4 years ago. My daughter's basically about to be 7. So the thing is, if you basically just start, literally, hey, using the same card every day for 1 week, eventually when they see that, let's say, generational wealth, they would know what that definition is. So that's why it's important for, even though you see the child on the face, you're thinking they're kid cards, but they're more so for the adult to learn. But then also once the adult learn it, then they can actually teach their children.
Yeah.
And now you're really breaking that generational wealth curve right there.
Yeah.
Nah, that's just great marketing right there.
You like that, right?
They see a beautiful baby girl on the cover. You know what? Let me go buy those cards. She's so cute and adorable.
Yes.
So while we on a topic, right? Financial literacy. People throw that term out there all the time, the phrase, right? But I think a lot of times people don't necessarily understand what exactly that means. So can you kind of break down, just in your own words, what financial literacy is and why? This is where I really want to go. Why it's so important for the Black community, especially people of color in general, but especially the Black community, to actually really start to learn about financial literacy and how. I wait on that. My next question, because I don't want to throw too much at you, because this is just a topic I get excited about. So,
it is the basics of just knowing about finances. So really, there is a checking account, there's a savings account, but there's 2 different numbers. So some people don't even know, hey, how to fill out a deposit slip,
right?
Or basically a checking deposit slip. So it's really just the basics. And that's really it. But then, so on top of the savings, when the time for an adult, there's taxes, there's your retirement account. And a lot of people say, you know what, I'm not going to basically do my retirement account because I don't know anything about it. But depending on what type of entity you work for, you can either have a 401k, 403b, 457. They won't know that information. But the thing is, if you actually get these financial literacy cards, by the time you actually graduate from high school or college, you would know some of these terms.
Yeah.
So it's really just basically starting with the basics, because the thing is, whatever terms that's actually in these particular cards, they still not talking about what out of the 52 cards, they're still not talking about it in grammar school, or high school, or college. So the thing is basically just starting from anywhere, and that's basically financial literacy.
Gotcha. All right. So in regards to just, especially because, Breaking Barriers, we focus on young men of color, right? Why is it so important for people of color, Black community, to actually start paying attention to financial literacy? Because I know a couple weeks ago there was this graphic going around on Facebook, and I think it was describing the income gap between white households and Black households, people of color, and just what is it that we need to do to really start to close this financial gap that exists?
Right. Okay. First thing is basically get your financial literacy cards. Second thing is that you're going to learn this stuff basically it's going to be a costly mistake. So the thing is, with me, it's like, hey, I went to all private colleges. I went to Duville, then I went to Medaille. When I finished with my MBA, I actually had an MBA that basically said, hey, Terrance DuBois MBA. But what was the first thing that I acquired once I got that degree? Besides that degree, what was the first thing that I acquired?
Debt.
Exactly. So if you really think about it, this can be a $100,000 mistake if you basically don't start the process now of basically just trying to educate yourself. So it can either be a $40,000 debt, 60 or 100, but let's just say you wanted to go to get your doctorate degree in psychology or something like that. Now you're basically doubling that debt. And now think about credit cards. When you first go to college, who the first people you see is the ones basically at the table trying to sign you up for a credit card.
Oh, yeah, because they know.
Capital One,
same there. So the thing is, they're going to give you a high credit limit, $5,000, and now you're 18 years old with a $5,000 credit card. The new J's came out. You ain't got no money, but you got access to a credit card.
What you going to do?
Oh, that's
Go
just
get them
now that's just financial decision making right there, which is a whole nother ball game.
You go get them J's or whatever you need. You're gonna put it on that card, but not realizing that you got to pay this money back.
Right.
And if you don't, hey, bad credit instantly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you know what? You brought it into you already started talking about it. Debt.
Mm-hmm.
How can we get rid of it?
Few different ways. So you can either pay the debt down if it hasn't went to collections, or you can more so try to get those things removed. But the thing is that debt stays on your credit report for 7 years.
Wow.
So if you don't make those necessary changes of trying not to get into debt, you're basically, locked in that debt for 7 years. And that was basically just so you start behind the 8 ball right from the jump.
Right.
And the thing is, if no one teaches you this information, it only gets worse. So really think if our parents knew this information, they would have told us this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But usually they don't. So the thing is, you got to break that generational curse and basically educate one. So when you know this information, you got to share it with your counterparts.
Right.
So therefore it can spread like wildfire. But if we don't start basically taking hold of this information, and there's so many free courses out there online to basically start getting your skills up to par. There's really no excuse. But the thing is, we just got to point young people to say, you know what, get these cards, or basically go get on this YouTube video and check this out, and find a mentor. Yeah. Find a mentor is definitely important.
I'm gonna flip this on y'all real quick because I got a question for you two. I was gonna ask Terrance this question, but I'm gonna ask you guys. Okay. You both have it. You're currently in school. You're working on some things that elevate you to the next level right now.
Yes, sir.
Why do you feel financial literacy, generational wealth, taxes, those types of things that we're actually having a conversation about today? Why do you feel like those aren't taught in schools?
Easy, because they don't want us to succeed. And I say that very vague because they don't want us to succeed. And the reason for that is because they weren't taught to succeed. And if you weren't taught something in school, why would I want to start teaching it now? I wasn't taught it, so they don't need to know it. I'm good. That's how they see it. But it's bigger than that. If you start teaching it now, then you can think about the next generation, the generation after that, because they already have been taught some of the stuff that you weren't taught. So I feel like it's that, like you said, the missing gap. If you were just to put those pieces together and say, hey, I'm tired of being oblivious to everything going on, and I don't want to see, my kids that I'm teaching struggle, with money in the future. Hey, it's time for, for them to start learning something different. The basics of how to spend your money wisely. And yeah, it's not there, So I feel like it's definitely a personal problem and even a district problem.
Xavier, your take?
I think it's sometimes feel like the priority. I feel like they don't really prioritize like the importance of financial literacy. And I always thought this like for like many months now, like you need to like start incorporating like that and like into like to core subjects, because that's where like kids are really gonna like get it in their brains about the importance like of taxes, like the market, like just basic like building your financial future. And I really think as something for a long-term goal, like you really need to come up like with a way to like actually incorporate that into the actual core lessons of schooling.
Absolutely.
So there are definitely changes that really needs to be made, but
so get rid of history class and put in financial literacy.
Oh no!
Come on, yeah, absolutely.
So studies can go away. Global. I'm curious because
those are my personal.
Yeah.
But well, that technically you would incorporate that into math. I always thought that
agree.
Economics.
Yeah, economics. Listen, I always thought that like you should probably like have like real. This is funny. This is where like grown folks and kids like will agree the most. We sometimes feel like that. Like the things we're learning in school, like we don't feel like we're gonna use like some of it like later on in life.
Bro, when are you ever gonna use the Industrial Revolution again ever in life? Unless you're gonna be a history teacher.
Well, the Tea Party ain't do nothing for me.
Well, yeah, honestly, I'm just talking about like
most of y'all are never gonna cut open a frog ever again in life.
Yeah, you see,
and they stopped even doing that. About. We didn't even do cut up frogs. What we did was Google them. So, there's a difference, from what you've been taught and from what we've been taught. Because first off, we got to talk about finances. The finances for that, probably got cut. And a lot of, there's been a lot of cases where the schools in many cities had to, find some budgets, budgeting and start cutting some stuff. So stuff like that. that's nothing. That's non-existent anymore.
Well, that's getting to broader about school funding, but we already had that.
I'm just saying, I think we did. So if financial literacy was offered as an elective course in schools, do you think more students will opt to actually take that as opposed to it being a study hall that they just kind of blow?
But it all depends on how you advertise it.
Advertising is important.
Y'all love money. Y'all love to spend money.
But see, you can say, hey, go to this economic class. You're going to think, oh, economics. What I need to go to economics for? Because I live in the economy. What I need to do? What do you mean economics? They don't know, and we don't know. So if you were to actually go and actually take the time and explain, like some of the teachers or the principal even would explain this course. We have a new course available. This course will help you in the long run. It will help you develop a better credit score. It will help you develop some skills to keep your check-ins from going into the negatives, so
and accumulating overdraft fees.
Thank you. So these are stuff that we need. So I feel like if it was to be broadcasted more openly and more broadly, it'll definitely have a bigger impact.
You know what else I think would help? If you had a brother that looked like this brother over here, actually in the schools that was teaching the class like this and could take some of those financial terms and kind of, flip them, code switch them a little bit, put a little barbecue sauce on them, put them in our latest terms, I think that'll help too.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Let's flip gears, kick it back over to Terrance. Terrance, generational wealth. We hear this term a lot.
Yes.
And I'm a huge Hov fan, so when he dropped 4-4, like, the nuggets that he dropped all over that album was just a lot of it was about generational wealth. Right. And we all just saw some of the moves that he just made over the past 2 weeks. It's just ridiculous. But generational wealth, how do we go about doing that, especially because we've been behind the 8-ball for so many years?
All right. The first thing I would say is basically get you a life insurance policy. So hopefully for the parents, let your parents get a life insurance policy on themselves. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna give you a little secret. Here's my knowledge. So right now, these cards sell for $24.99. So I know, hey, what I just did prior to me releasing these cards, I took out a $500,000 life insurance policy out on myself. The money I actually make from these cards pays this life insurance policy. So either way it goes, if I pass away now or the next 20 years, my kids inherit $500,000 and a product that they can sell for life, and that they never have to basically reconstruct these cards, because basically I created a product that basically can sell over and over and over again. So what I did was more so create generational wealth with life insurance. So with life insurance, if I pass away today, the insurance company is going to give my family $500,000, actually more than that. So probably $1 million worth of life insurance. So that's going to be a check for $1 million tax free. But now really think about this. Let's say other generations, what they do, they basically take out $1 million life insurance policy on themselves, make their son the beneficiary. So let's just say your father took out a life insurance policy on himself. He passed away, made you the beneficiary. What did you inherit? $1 million. You have a daughter. You did the same thing. You took out a life insurance policy on yourself, made her the beneficiary. You pass away. What did happen? She basically became a millionaire. So basically, you need to start that process. Every family needs to start that process, because right now we inherit debt.
Sure do.
So the only way to
talk about it,
to generate wealth, is basically borrow life insurance. So I tell people, rent wealth while you build wealth. So hey, I'm going to pay $50 a month for a $500,000 life insurance policy. So I'm renting this policy while I'm basically using my $25 per month or per week to basically put into my investment account. So I'm renting this until I can basically replace this with cash. So rent wealth while you build wealth. So when that term insurance expires, you don't need that anymore, because you basically created money on your own with the investments.
Right.
I love that. I don't want to go there yet. So I want to stay on this, but I got to ask this question because I'm thinking about it, right? So how do you generate generational wealth when you live in check to check?
Check to check. Here it is. You want to pay yourself first. So whether it's $5, $10, whatever the case may be, you want to pay yourself first. Because think about this. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're paying all your bills and then you try to save. But what's generally left over?
Nothing.
So you got to flip the script. It's all about you now. You got to be selfish. Because think about this. So say you basically been paying your bills for the last 20, 30 years or so on time. Your credit is great, but you never saved any money for retirement. And now you need some money. Do you think Spectrum or National Fuel, National Grid would say, hey, I like you. You've been good to us. We're going to basically give you a monthly check every month.
Nope. Ain't happening.
So the things you got to get selfish. So whether it's $1, $2, $5, 10, whatever the case may be, start putting it into some type of retirement account or just a savings account, and you'll see that money grow.
I was just about to say that.
First thing you want to do is basically say, you know what, I'm gonna put some money to the side. I know a lot of people basically got them stimulus checks a day.
Them stimmies hit.
Yeah. So you want to put, something in that particular, savings account, a rainy day fund, because a rainy day will definitely come. You just don't know when. So start saving, 10% of something first.
But if you're like me and you like to spend your money, y'all just set up a savings account to the point to where they just take it out your check right away.
Yeah.
Because other than that, if you know that you're not going to be really responsible and disciplined with your money, it's going to backfire.
Of course.
And then you're going to be looking like you just said, you're going to be looking dumb because, I got negatives in my account. Well, I wonder why. You didn't take the time, like you said, and treat yourself to something nice. And that's all it takes. You just got to treat yourself. That don't mean go buy the whole mall. That mean treat yourself to where it's going to be beneficial down the road.
You're right.
So I have a question. How do you feel knowing, when you were younger, you were a CNA? How do you feel now, where you are? Or do you feel like you're financially stable to the point to where you're, I say, calm in a way?
No, not at all. My thing was, I always been the type of person that was never satisfied. So I might be sitting on $1 or a $500,000, but it's just not enough. It's like, because I know the cost of living is always going up. So it's just one thing about myself, even. So like I used to DJ, but like my goal was, I want to learn how to basically DJ. So once I learn how to do it, I'm like, all right, well, what's next? So right now, I'm not financially fit because I know there's more to gain and more to get. So I don't think I'll ever be comfortable.
Okay. Hey, I like that.
That's a good mentality.
Yeah.
Continuing on the generational wealth conversation, what are some other ways that people of color can really work to establish that, and things that they can accumulate pass down over time?
There's real estate, there's investments, mutual funds, a little bit of everything. So like even right there,
stocks,
yeah, a little bit of everything. But like I said, with these cards, like I don't have to basically ever create these again. I just got to basically tell my kids, hey, when you run low, you call this person. They're going to basically send you a couple boxes. You sell those boxes. That's basically, showing you how to basically generate wealth. But even with myself, it's like, I know how to cut hair. I got some clippers. I've been cutting hair for the last 20 years. But what I'm going to do is when my son or my daughter go off to college, they get these clippers because they're going to know how to cut hair. So now they have tools to basically make money.
Side hustles.
There you go. So right now, while you guys are young, you want to figure out, hey, what can I basically do to make money? So I tell anyone, find a need and fulfill that need. So if you find that need, you'll never have to worry about money again. So with myself, I'm backtracking a little bit. With these cards, I know it's financial literacy. The financial literacy gap is out there. If I basically, present this to anyone, they're basically going to want this information. Life insurance. People's dying every day. They know their birthday. They don't know their death date. So, hey, you need life insurance. You need it. Let's get you a small policy that's going to charge you $25 per day. $25 per month. In the event if you pass away, I'm going to be delivering a check to your beneficiaries tax-free.
Right.
Mutual funds. You can start off as little as $25 per month. People don't really realize that. But if you do the math, that's less than $2 a day. Well, hey, don't go eat McDonald's. For a week or two. That's your $25. Basically, start putting that to a savings account. And because the market is up, you're going to see that money just grow from 25 to 27, now 32.
Now, what's that called? When you build and you build, what are you building?
You're more so building a portfolio.
Okay.
And you're diversifying that portfolio. So when you're dealing with mutual funds, the example I like to use is think about a bag of jelly beans.
Okay.
So there's red, there's yellow, there's black. But let's just say someone ate, 5 yellow jelly beans. Would you notice someone really ate 5 jelly beans from that bag of jelly beans?
You wouldn't notice.
Correct. And that's really what a mutual fund is. So the bag is the mutual fund. The different colors are the stocks inside that bag.
Okay.
So when one stock is actually doing bad, you still have, let's say, 50 to 100 different stocks to actually offset that loss. So that's why it's really important to invest in mutual funds.
It's always good to have a backup from your backup.
Absolutely. And now you have 50 other, companies back in that one that does bad.
Right.
I think I just thought about the name of that course. Get into the bag. Something along that line. I mean, that's the terminology that young people use nowadays, right? It's all about getting the bag, right?
Yeah.
Terrance, somebody just gave you a freebie right there.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, if you use that, I just slide me something on the
All
side.
right.
We've been good with the slogans. We might have to start charging.
Terrance giving out free game today. So
Yeah, you giving me advice. I'm taking it in.
we always talk about. I always hear people talk about multiple streams, right? They say, what is it? 7 streams of income. How many streams you working with right now?
So I actually have the earned income where basically I get up every day and go to work. Me and the wife actually have real estate. I got these cards. I'm creating. I just created a podcast as well. We're gonna be selling merchandise on there, so that's 5. I'm basically creating a course because it's not in our school system.
Right.
So now, hey, if you like what you like, if you like what you listen, if you like what you hear, subscribe to the course. I'm gonna be mentoring, people for a small fee, and it's basically just to pour into them. So hey, your goal may be to be the best tennis player or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna drill it to you every week. Like, hey, did you accomplish your goals? So I'm more so gonna be your accountability partner. So I have 6, but 6 ain't good enough. It's like, why not get 12?
Okay.
Hey.
Now, this is when I have a bunch of friends that, they may work a main job and then they have some businesses. I'm thinking of one in particular. I've been telling him for years, just, dude, I need you to focus on one at a time. All right. And I feel like that's the trap that sometimes, especially young, Black, ambitious entrepreneurs fall into, right? They have a bunch of different ideas. I'm thinking of another guy that I know that's actually sitting in this room right now. I ain't gonna say his name. All these great ideas and they have all these different avenues, right? How do you manage all of that, right? Because I have a ton of ideas up here, right? But I'm trying to focus on Say Yes right now, and then once that'll be my next chapter in life where I start to map out all these different businesses, right? But how do you manage all of that? Because I think it's just an area where some young people, they have all this passion and ambition and drive, and they don't necessarily focus on one. They try to focus on 4 or 5 at one time.
And you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to do that. So I was in the same situation. Like I can't sleep at night because like I'll be thinking about what's next for me. So the thing is, I seen a YouTube video and they basically focus on one thing and be great at that one thing. And now, so really, I hate to go back to these cards, but at the same time, it's like I actually have this information in my head.
Right.
But now let me put it on a card. It's only 52 cards, but it's like I got so much information in my head. So now what I can do, these one cards can basically create 5 to 6 different income streams. So there's a course, there's a workbook, there's me doing videos, which I'm going to record one time, and now I never have to go back and do it again. Now there's going to be speaking engagements if people want this. There's podcast opportunities, there's merchandise. So the thing is, I focus on one thing and basically just figure out, hey, how can you maximize just this one particular, product? And now the rest will come once you master this. Now it's on autopilot. Now you go to the next.
So I'm talking about teach me the game, Ghost.
Exactly.
Teach me the game, Ghost.
I think it's time for us to talk to Dr. Chronic Cash. We need him into the system, y'all.
Since we're talking about learning about the game, I want to sort of low key get into it a little. So, what would you think are the best ways, in terms of generating wealth? Talking stocks, you talk about mutual funds, you talk about real estate. Like out of those things or anything else, what is the best way, especially for communities of color, to build that wealth?
Communities, I would say life insurance, because that's the easiest thing to get if your health is intact. And the thing is, that's going to be the easiest one to get because it's the cheapest one, but it's also going to create the quickest way to generate the wealth. So I would say start off with the life insurance. For one, it's easy, but then everyone else needs it as well. And secondly, is more so just start saving some type of money because that emergency will come. We just don't know when.
Terrance, I feel you on that, right? But I want to be able to do both, right? Two things. I want to be able to enjoy my life while I'm here and take that money and do the things I want to do, right? But then I want to make sure I have something, tucked away for my little one, right? So I have the additional life insurance policy that's tucked away. Layla gonna be straight.
Is it outside your job or within your job?
It's within the job, and then I have another one too.
Okay.
Layla's gonna be good just on that, right? I went the real estate path, got a couple properties, but I want to I want to, build generational wealth, but I also want to, have something where I can enjoy life now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I would say start saving for. We'll put this in this put this money into more so max out your retirement account, because at the same time you can borrow from that if you ever need to. So if you see a house that basically you got to put some money into, you basically have access to tap into that money from your retirement account. So I would definitely say, max out your retirement account. So once you max out your retirement account, you more so want to look to do a Roth IRA.
Okay. Got one of those.
You got one of those. Yep. Max that out as well. And the thing is, if your child is over 14, they can basically do a Roth as well. You just have to earn income. Mm-hmm. And now, hey, you're building, income and growth for yourself. But then you're also basically making sure your child is safe too.
We're talking about prevention, and I'm loving it, because you don't really hear a lot of people talk about how to prevent, becoming in debt. Mm-hmm. You always hear how they came in debt. And, I feel like it's different. Oh, mama got tongue tied. It's definitely one of them different scenarios, to the point where you have to really sit back and be like, wow, I have all of these resources at my hand, on our phones, but I'm still not understanding how I'm supposed to make this actually get, make it start rolling. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is what you got to do?
Reach out to someone who basically knows more than you.
Okay.
So let's say, hey, if
Terrance.
it's me, all right, yeah.
Terrance,
so I say, what's your goal? You may say, hey, you want to basically start saving for a rainy day. I say, all right, well, how much money can you afford? You say $25 a month. Right. I say, okay, well, fine. How soon would you need this money? You may say, well, you won't need it anytime soon. So now I know that we have $25 to work with on a monthly basis. You don't need this money no time soon. So we're going to go with an aggressive growth, let's say mutual fund. And now that particular aggressive growth mutual fund is going to pay dividends every month, every quarter. So now that same money that you're making in the market, you're also going to get a bonus when that company actually sees a profit and pays out dividends.
Okay.
And now you're seeing that money grow and grow and grow. Right. And now when it's time for you to basically, let's say, get a raise, you want to increase your contributions into, this savings account or retirement account, whatever the case may be, because who's going to use this money when they retire or, that rainy day? It's going to be yourself.
Right.
So the thing is more so going from A to B, just starting and doing something and basically forgetting about it and just watch it grow. And I think that's our biggest fear, is that, we feel as if we don't actually we can't afford to do it right now. But $25 is not a lot. So it's really just starting.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And it don't matter what a dollar amount. So you may not have the $25 to invest in now, but eventually, hey, we're gonna save $25. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you can basically cut some grass and make $25.
Right.
So right now there's really no excuses. Now with this e-commerce, it's like you can literally sell anything online.
Yeah. So that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Our phones, literally, these are our money makers. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to say, that a piece of, an object is giving what is going to give us a chance to make money.
Correct.
And I feel like a lot of us take that for advantage. We use it mainly for like social media, stuff of that nature, and we don't actually take the time to look at some of the financial apps that they have to offer. Like for example, Chime. I know Chime is a great card. You don't have to pay nothing as far as monthly expenses or anything. It's one of those debit cards where if you need it, just right there. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's really beneficial, because like you were saying, if you were going to do credit, and if you were, let's say, to go shopping and you don't pay none of that money back, you're just putting yourself in a deeper hole.
Correct.
So do you feel that trying to stay away from, going into a credit card is the best option?
No, because you can actually have a ton of money in, let's say, your savings account or whatever account. But when it's time to, let's say, go for a car or a mortgage, they're going to pull your credit report.
Right.
Yep. And if there's no credit report, you can't trust it. Right. Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, you have to basically, it's just like your report card. They want to say, hey, but what is your financial report card? Mm. So the thing is, you got to start from somewhere. Mm. So you more so just say, hey, let's just go with a secure credit card. And just basically let that build. And eventually, once that creditor sees that, hey, you're worthy, then they say, hey, we're going to give you money back. And now it's unsecured, and we're even going to double your limit.
Okay. When we actually use our credit cards, what's some of the stuff that you suggest that we actually spend? And what's using the credit card? And what's some stuff that we should actually spend using money? Is there certain stuff that we should use on a credit card, or?
That's a tough one because my younger days, like I was swiping for anything.
Okay.
But now I'm a little older. I would say, you know what? I really just use my credit card for emergencies like car repairs.
Okay.
Or a situation where I need to go out of town and basically book a flight right then and there. I'll more so do that. But what I do is like I try to use my card where I can always just track that and basically use those for business expenses. Because of my license, like the majority of stuff that I actually do is really a write-off for me.
Right.
So I always, when I'm swiping my card, I'm really realizing, well, can this be a business expense? So it's a little different for me, but for yourself, basically just try not to use it only for emergency purposes only.
Absolutely.
I swipe mine, but I do it because I know I'm going to be disciplined with it, right? So
you're gonna pay it back.
I look for all the perks that credit cards use. So even say Target, like 5% might not be nothing to you, but for me, it means something. So every time I go to Target, if I have my Target card, I'm swiping that to make my purchase, and then as soon as I get the receipt, I'm going right to the customer service desk, and I'm paying the bill right then and there. 5% that's a couple dollars off that I'm saving.
Right.
And then sometimes they had the gift cards when you buy in bulk and that kind of stuff. I pay attention to those types of things. Other gift cards, other credit cards have it set up where you use your credit card, you get a cash back or you accumulate points. And I'm disciplined enough where I make sure I pay that balance off at the end of every month, so then I don't accumulate interest, but now I'm getting points that I use to go book flights and get gift cards and buy other things. So you can do that, but you got to be super, super, super disciplined.
If you like me, don't do it. That's all you
it's
say.
all about knowing yourself.
Well, Terrance, let's talk about your childhood. We talked about the business aspect. What pushed you? You said that you were the youngest, one of the youngest of your siblings. What pushed you to want to even go into? Did you even at that time? Did you know that you wanted to go into economics?
Yes. Well, you know what? No, I would say I'll take that back. So probably age 14, 15, I just seen that there was a need for, services around in my neighborhood. So I say, you know what? If I can save up enough money to basically acquire some of those services and now present this to those individuals, the money will come. So I saw that there was a need for some of the things in my community, and I provided those services. So I would say I've been an entrepreneur since the age of 14.
Wow.
And it just continued, on and on with me getting this license. I basically DJ'd. I did a little bit of everything, but I knew everything that I was doing, it was basically a service. Because I know, hey, if I actually have these tools, I can be able to cut here. I may just have to wait for this money, but it's going to come. So I would say, and my parents didn't even push me to become an entrepreneur. It was just that it was never enough. Like, hey, they gave me whatever I wanted, but I wanted more, and they wasn't going to give me any more. So I'm like, all right, well, let me go get it on my own.
Oh, I heard that.
Question. So you say you didn't want to go to college, right?
I had no desire to go to college.
How come?
You know what? I just got tired of it. And the thing was, I hate to say it, but I went to high school, for the girls, for the clothes, and to play basketball. And so I only did enough to basically make the basketball team. And when I made the basketball team, but when the grades came out, I didn't actually have that 70. I think that's what I needed. I was cut. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just basically finish with school so I can be done with it. So I really just wanted to take that route. Your parents say, go to college, get a good job. I wasn't trying to hear that. So I just say, you know what? I'm just going to chill for a year. So that's really what I did. But then I seen like all my friends going to Buff State and in different colleges, and they talking about these parties and stuff. I'm like,
oh, I want to just experience that.
Ain't nobody having no parties out here on these streets. So
they having lockup parties on the street.
That's really what was happening. Like, all my friends, they was basically going to jail or just doing crazy things. I'm like, I just really want to get this money, some beats and rims on my car, and that's what I did. But then after a while, I'm like, it was just like, it wasn't enough.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, well, what's next? And that's when I said, you know what, I got to get better. So that's when I went to school, but I wasn't ready to go to school at that time. I dropped out after one semester.
Wow, okay.
But when I got a little bit older, I seen that, I needed some type of degree. So that's when I really got serious when I moved to Charlotte. Because some of these jobs wouldn't basically give me a job, even though I actually had my license. Once I got my Series 7, when I came back to Buffalo, they said, well, you got your Series 7, but where's your degree? I'm like, well, I don't need a degree. I got the Series 7. They're like, well, it kind of looks better if you got all of them. So that's when I, went back and got my, my 2 degrees.
I've heard this metaphor. Some people said that the bed that you were buried in, as far as no, I said it wrong. The bed that you were planted in sometimes can be the bed that caused you to die. So do you feel that? Do you hear that? You heard that before?
No, just go ahead, Dwayne.
Okay. So the bed that that was a good one, wasn't it?
I don't know about all that.
It was definitely a good one. But look, I'm about to explain why. Because take yourself as a flower.
Mm-hmm.
You had to, literally, dig yourself up from a toxic. Was this toxic for you? Was Buffalo toxic for you to the point where you had to move to Charlotte?
No, it wasn't. It was just that I wanted more, and I knew that I didn't really have any role models growing up. It's like my parents basically were just hardworking blue collar workers, and it's like I never seen anyone basically with a white collar job. Like even in high school, like no one came and talked about fraternity. So when I finally found out about the fraternity, I'm thinking it was false because like I only seen school days. Right. So when I finally seen it, I'm like, well, really, what is this? So the thing is, it's just more to it than Buffalo. So once I seen that it was bigger than Buffalo, I'm like, wow, I can basically do this. I can do that. I can quit this job and go find another job. So I was living my life when I moved to Charlotte. But the thing is, I just knew that it wasn't really too much positivity around when I was growing up. Okay. So I felt that if I wanted that change, I had to be the change myself.
Well, my question was, what do you feel like? Did you feel leaving the bed that you were planted in helped you to grow?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So honestly, if I wouldn't have moved to Charlotte, I probably would have been maybe an LPN, because I knew the CNA was already done, but I'm thinking, hey, what's next? Right. So I didn't have no degree, and I think I could have got an LPN degree LPN license without a college degree. So I probably would have just been an LPN and just been complacent and just been going there every day, miserable. Right. So no, I had to leave the nest or the plant.
So you mentioned the fraternity. Can you talk a little bit about Alpha Phi Alpha?
Alpha Phi Alpha, the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So Monday will actually be 13 years for me. So I actually joined because I was looking at different fraternities and I did my research and I just seen, when I landed on the page of Alpha, I seen what they stood for. And I'm like, well, I'm already doing this work. Right. So it was basically a perfect fit for me. And luckily, my cousin, he was Alpha at that time, and he basically just put me through the process. And it'll be 13 years come March 22nd, 7:47 p.m.
All right, down to the T.
He got it down. Yes. Got it down.
All right, so Terrance, we're gonna get ready to run you through the gauntlet, man.
Okay.
We do this piece where we ask you a couple of questions, and you just respond with the first thing that comes to your mind. And I'm gonna try to go off the cuff because I don't have my questions in front of me.
Okay.
So, seeing is that you've been in Charlotte and Buffalo now. Best pizza spot in Buffalo.
I'm gonna rock out with Franco's. If you get it extra crispy, Franco's.
They like
prior to Franco's, who did you like before that?
I'm going with Leonardo's.
Thank you. I was about to say it. Leonardo's was the bomb.
Yeah. The 1906, I think that's how much it was for.
The fact that you remember.
I think it was 1906 was for a large pizza, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it was 1906.
All right. Since we brought up pizza, we gotta go wings. So, what's not the best, but what's your favorite wing spot in Buffalo?
I'm rocking out with Duff's.
Felt that.
Yeah, Duff's.
Ooh, I'm surprised at you, Terrance. Duff's?
Yeah, who
you think?
Man, I got a couple different spots. Okay. It all depends on what kind of wings I want. So,
all right.
If I want Cajun honey, I'm going to Fat Cats. Okay. If I want Korean barbecue, I'm going to Lennox.
He ain't never been to Fat Cats.
I ain't never been to Lennox either. Where's that at?
Terrance, we gotta go have
Yeah, take me there.
We gotta go hang out on Friday around 5 o'clock.
I don't eat fish.
You don't like fish?
No, okay. I don't.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go get some.
It's not really many people. I've never met that many people that don't like fish.
No, either. I'll tell you later.
But yeah, I mean, everybody got their favorite wing spots in Buffalo, man.
Leonardo's, Lenova's charbroiled wings.
Oh yeah,
my God,
is all right.
Them things are smack. I told a lot of people said that when they came here it was trash, and I was kind of I'm like, I don't know about that. Maybe the pizza may not be the best, but I think they wings.
Yeah, that's number 2 for me.
Yeah,
that's number 2.
All right. Your favorite city to visit?
I'm liking Charlotte. I'm sold on Charlotte. It's like I'm really trying to go back to Charlotte because there's anything that you want is available in Charlotte. It's basketball, it's football. Zaxby's. There you are. There you are. So I would say Charlotte for right now.
I feel that.
All right. If you had to pick an actor to portray you in a movie, who would it be?
Probably Chris Rock, because they say we look alike. So I think it might be a little easy win for him. So probably Chris Rock or Kevin Hart.
Okay, I can see Kevin.
Yeah.
They wouldn't feel me on the Chris Rock.
Okay.
Now, I can see little Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan.
I can see that a little bit.
Or
By the
people say
forehead.
Mekhi Phifer or like Memphis Bleak. So
I see that.
either one of them.
I can see Bleak now that you just said
If I
that.
rock my hat to the side.
Mekhi a little bit. You know, first movie ever murked out Mekhi Phifer. That's my movie right there. I might have to go check that out today. All right. Who taught you? Who had an influence on you growing up? Major influence. Like who taught you the game?
You know what? I would say I would say a dude named Adrian Bryce, and he's more so like my cousin, but he led me to the Series 7. So honestly, if it wasn't for him and like me using his name and me using his book to study from, I don't know where I would be.
Wow.
So I would say he basically set the tone for me to basically, get my Series 7. And honestly, I didn't even know what it was. I just knew that I wanted to be something or do something. And once I, seen a book and I was like, you know what? I can basically call everybody back in Buffalo and say I'm a stockbroker. They're like, man, you ain't no stockbroker. But hey, you look up, man, Series 7. Anyone past that Series 7 is a stockbroker. So I was really going for the title. And he helped me get there. So I would definitely say Adrian Bryce.
All right. Favorite sports team?
You know what? Oh, the Chicago Bears.
Ooh, Terrance, hold on. Whoa.
Yeah, man. I've been rocking out with them since 85.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's some decades.
Dude, y'all don't even have a quarterback. You sure don't.
You sure don't.
You know, y'all just picked up Andy Dalton.
We did? He's solid.
Wait, I
He's
thought they
better than
picked up
Trubisky.
Tyrod. Wait, where did Tyrod go?
Tyrod went to, he backing up one of the, who was he backing up?
I thought he went to Chicago.
No,
Who's taking him?
Tyrod is backing up Deshaun.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Texans
he's in
picked him up.
Texas. Yeah, Tyrod. That surprised me.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just like them because they play on grass.
Yeah.
Honestly, I want to see, I want to see you get dirty. So, I mean, I've been a fan, but it's like I really watch it because they really get dirty.
How have you lived in Charlotte and Buffalo? And neither one of these teams is your favorite.
You're right.
You're
right. I'm saying, I rock out with the Bills because that's my hometown. But, if I had the choice between if the Bears are on and the Bills, I'm probably going to rock out with the Bears.
That's terrible.
If it's a home game, I'm rocking out with the Bears.
Did you watch any games last season?
A few.
Okay.
Of the Bills? Or
No, the Bears.
Yeah, just a few.
Okay.
Yeah. Because really, I'm a basketball fan.
Okay.
I just like the Bears.
Good, because we're going to give you a chance to redeem yourself.
Okay.
But be honest. Like, don't let him intimidate you. Like, you choose the answer that
Baby honest. Chill. Stay over there, baby honest.
You just have a tendency to get a little triggered.
Baby honest.
Because you know how I feel about this next question that's coming up.
Yes, I understand. But just don't get angry.
Mike, LeBron, or Kobe?
I'm rocking out with LeBron.
Uh-oh.
But no,
Podcast is over.
Wait.
Podcast is over.
We gotta go. Think about this. LeBron is bigger than basketball. Like, yo, he do it on and off the court.
We talking strictly basketball.
Okay, basketball. All right. So, you know what? LeBron is more entertaining. So he's gonna basically give you the defense. Maybe not right now, but he's gonna give you
Terrance.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But I'm saying I rank him. Can I rank him?
Did you watch Mike?
No. I'm saying, can I rank him?
I want your numero uno.
Okay.
And then you can rank afterwards.
I'm gonna go with Mike. Yeah, I'll go Mike. Then Kobe, then LeBron.
Okay.
Yeah.
He
He's
feel
in
better
a
now.
He's in a better place.
Okay.
You saw what he did though. He switched it up. I feel like we was about to go Stephen A on here, Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. Skip. Like, wait a minute. No, but like LeBron, I respect everything that LeBron does off the court, man. It's just I can't get with LeBron on the court, man. He boring to me, man.
He's boring?
Yes, you
He's like that.
LeBron gonna run you over, get a layup. Now he want to shoot threes and everything. He probably trying to play with Steph. Like,
Well, listen, if you had that 6'8" frame, I feel the same thing.
I hear you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is.
I think he's good for another 3 years.
Kobe's my guy. Always been my guy. You know, he carbon copy of MJ, just skillful competitor. My knock on LeBron has always been he just don't have that killer instinct.
Yeah, correct.
So I'm a Mamba mentality guy.
Okay.
I get passionate about this. Let's move on. All right. Denzel, Will Smith, Morgan Freeman.
I'm going with Denzel.
Okay, I respect that.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I'm going with Denzel.
Everyone says Denzel, so it's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Last couple questions. Seeing as that you're a father, what is your favorite? And since you got that baby, beautiful baby girl right there, what's your favorite daddy-daughter activity?
You know what? Just honestly, when the alarm goes off, when I come in here, they both run to me.
Oh,
that's it right there. So this is basically daily, and really, it's like the kids race to see who will get to me first.
That's
so that's the moment I live for every time. And my wife hated because she's watching this. I apologize. But like when I come in, whatever they doing, they run to me. But like when she come in, like they don't really like, hi mom. But it's like, you know, I've been with them since day one. Not to say that she wasn't, but it's like I take them to school every day, and I've been doing it since day one. So when you talk about fatherhood, that's important to me. You know, so they say, hey, my daughter's a new Wendy's, because when she grows up, everyone's gonna know who she is if I keep her face on here. So, you know, my thing is fatherhood is everything to me.
A person in the financial world, I don't care, you know, where it is, that you look up to, that you admire.
You know, it's so many right now. It's like, I would say, what's my man name? David Shands from Sleepers for Suckers.
Okay,
I'm digging him, and Nehemiah Davis, and even Earn Your Leisure, that podcast. So I don't even know their names, but I know Earn Your Leisure. I think his name is Rashad Bilal. Yes. So right now, just to even talk about that, it's like we actually have a podcast that airs every Thursday. It's called the Money Power Invest Show.
Yeah, we didn't even get a chance to talk about that today.
Oh, no, Ryan, you trying to wrap this up? Like But so we more so mirrored exactly what they did. So my partner, he more so specialized in real estate, credit repair, and business repair, or business credit. And now you got me basically doing investments in insurance, and a little bit of everything. So we more so just, you know, interviewing cats and just basically giving them a spotlight to shine, whereas we basically, you know, we're trying to shine ourselves. So it's more so really just about, man, just bringing collective minds together and basically just giving people a platform to basically just spread the word and educate other people.
We can check that out. Facebook Live, right? YouTube.
Yes. On streaming on all platforms, the Money Power Invest Show. And even myself is like, I'm going to start to record some of these cards that I'm doing. So therefore, you know, hey, what's inside these cards. So I'm more so going to do like one card per week, probably like either on Tuesday or Thursday. So just, you know, be on the lookout to follow me on Facebook or Instagram, TL DuBois.
All social media platforms.
Absolutely. You're right.
All right. Definitely going to check you out. I know I saw the post for it, and make sure I share it out too.
Please. Thank you.
All right. Last two. Best advice that someone has given you.
Get a mentor. Because I'm saying that mentor can basically save you on thousands of dollars, thousands of time. Just give you a person to bounce ideas around. So just find a mentor. I would definitely say that's probably one of the best advice someone said. And the things, and play it forward. So the thing is, once you know this information, don't keep it. Basically share with other people. You know, and so you won't block your blessings.
Amen to that.
Don't block your blessings.
Yeah.
That's the hashtag for the day. Don't block them.
All right. Last one. Your greatest fear.
Swimming.
I thought he was going to get on deep. He is swimming.
No, real talk, man. It's like I seen.
You know what they say? Black people don't like the water.
Yo, listen. Story.
That's a stereotype.
I went to Seneca because they ain't had no swimming pool. I really wanted to go to McKinley, but I knew all freshmen had to basically get in the water they first year. So I'm like, you know what? Seneca ain't got a swimming pool, so I went to Seneca.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, man.
So Terrance, you the type, if you go on vacation,
I'll hold your keys.
If you go on vacation and you on the beach, you gonna put your toe in the water?
Oh yeah, I do that. But you know what? On my anniversary, I learned how to basically float. So I think I started the process. And funny stories, like I even paid for swim lessons. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna learn how to swim. But when the time it came, I'm like, you know what? $30. Like I'll lose that. You know what I mean? I didn't go. But I'm gonna learn.
You sound like me. I'm the dude that will not get on a bicycle. But what you gonna do when they want to go swimming?
You know what? I put my feet in the water. I'm more like, yo, give me your keys, give me your wallet. I hold all of that for you. You ain't got to worry about, any of that stuff getting wet. Because I ain't getting in the water.
Oh, man. Yo, Terrance, I've enjoyed this, man. This is a great conversation. Appreciate everything that you're doing to make sure that our community is financially literate.
Appreciate it.
Kick it back over to Dwayne to close us out with our thank yous.
You were closing out.
You want me to close us out? I'll close us out. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dwayne, for being a great host today.
Thank you.
I'm glad to have you back. We missed you over the last podcast.
I missed y'all. I just had to take care of some stuff.
It's all good. Xavier held it down. My guy, Zabama, baby Giannis. I got a person, Giannis. Don't he look like Giannis? Catch us again on the next podcast. Thank you to the Community Foundation for Greater Buffalo, the Greater Buffalo Racial Equity Roundtable, the Oshai Foundation. Make sure that you follow us on all of our social media platforms. The Breaking Barriers podcast is also streaming on all major platforms: iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
iHeartRadio.
I said iHeart, all of those. And we will see y'all next time. Yes. Love y'all. Peace. And we out.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.
Later.